Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window from this afternoon. And boy, a beautiful day out there today, no doubt about that. We still saw some of those breezy conditions at times today, but a lot of blue sky as we look down at the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera up on Wenatchee Heights. And look at that beautiful shot. Temperatures near 60 today, and get used to it because as we move into the upcoming weekend, it's going to be nice. Here are our high temperatures expected to be. We passed 58 in Wenatchee, by the way, today, and it looks like tomorrow 61, maybe 62. Moses Lake, you'll be in the lower 60s, and Omak, your high temperature tomorrow right around 60 degrees. But as we get into Sunday, late in the afternoon, Sunday night and Monday, we are going to see some very strong winds as a big cold front moves through. It will cool us down on Monday and possibly blow in the Columbia Basin up to 50 miles an hour. And we'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The Yakima man accused of steering a Ford Explorer through Wenatchee while a passenger opened fire on another vehicle was acquitted yesterday of all criminal charges. A new sales and use tax in the city of Wenatchee should raise about $1.2 million for shelter programs aimed at the Wenatchee Valley's homeless population. Governor Jay Inslee and state health officials announced yesterday that 3 feet will be the new minimum separation between students in Washington classrooms. And Leavenworth took steps this week to finalize the purchase of the former Osborne Elementary School property. But first, our top story tonight, a semi and 2 pickups were involved in collisions on Highway 17 south of Moses Lake early this morning that claimed the life of the 57-year-old driver of a pickup and injured the drivers of the other 2 vehicles. The State Patrol identified the deceased man as Froylan Valdivia of Warden. According to the State Patrol, Valdivia was northbound on Highway 17 about 4:45 a.m., preparing to make a left turn when his Chevy Silverado pickup was hit from behind by a Peterbilt tractor being driven by 30-year-old Abel Juarez Avila of Connell. That pushed Valdivia's vehicle into the southbound lane where it was struck by a Ford F-350 pickup that was being driven by 26-year-old Arturo Fernandez of Ephrata. Trooper John Bryant said Valdivia was driving the Silverado with only its running lights on and no taillights. Both Avila and Fernandez were transported to the hospital in Othello with injuries that were not believed to be serious. Highway 17 at Road 5 Southeast, about 10 miles south of Moses Lake, was closed for more than 6 hours this morning while troopers investigated. The Yakima man accused of steering a Ford Explorer through Wenatchee while a passenger opened fire on another vehicle was acquitted yesterday of all criminal charges. A jury cleared 27-year-old Juan Mendoza Rodriguez on counts of first-degree assault and drive-by shooting after 2 days at trial in Chelan County Superior Court. Police said Mendoza was the driver in a shooting near the intersection of Douglas and Idaho Streets when passenger Alexander Lopez fired a rifle at another car in traffic and wounded one occupant. Both Mendoza and Lopez have been jailed since that incident. Mendoza is now free, but Lopez, who's 20 years old, allegedly admitted to carrying out the shooting. He now faces trial in April. Well, a new sales and use tax in the city of Wenatchee should raise about $1.2 million for shelter programs aimed at the Wenatchee Valley's homeless population. The tax amounts to 10 cents on every $100 of purchases in the city. Together with about $400,000 from a similar tax in East Wenatchee, it will help pay for a low-barrier shelter such as the sleep centers put in place in Moses Lake and elsewhere, and related services for those without housing. The vote was unanimous, but there was lively input from the public and debate among council members.
I walked in here saying, no way, I don't want to vote for this because it's wasted money. But this is what the community wants. And apparently it's working out in Moses Lake, so it gives me hope that it'll work.
None of us like the idea of raising taxes, especially doing it without, for me personally, I really hate doing this without the vote of the people. And this is one of the reasons why I think a sunset clause is very important.
I've been talking to my neighbors and constituents for months about this, long before this came to council with recommendations from staff. And every single person said we need to do something.
The 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Overnight sheltering, that doesn't take care of the 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And without really seriously ramping up our behavioral health and our substance and alcohol abuse treatment programs, this may succeed, but it will have the limited success without those.
In other news, Governor Jay Inslee and state health officials announced yesterday that 3 feet will be the new minimum separation between students in Washington classrooms. That's down from a minimum 6 feet. The 3 feet recommendation comes from the Center for Disease Control, which says it appears to be a safe distance to keep COVID-19 under control in schools when students are wearing masks. However, 6 feet will still be the minimum in lunchrooms when passing in halls between classes and in other circumstances. Educators and parent groups have been lobbying the state to incorporate the federal distancing guidelines in the hopes of returning more students to classrooms.
This order will allow school districts the flexibility to make the right decisions and the right choices for their students and their educators and their families and their larger communities. Now, we know and we are confident in this decision because in addition to the CDC guidance, which has been based on huge assessment of the science, there are thousands of schools today operating across the country under this guidance right now and operating safely. It's importantly, this order removes another barrier that would otherwise prevent the full reintroduction of children into the classroom in a more normal setting.
Leavenworth took steps this week to finalize the purchase of the former Osborne Elementary School property. The City Council agreed to spend up to $630,000 for the purchase of the building and grounds from the Cascade School District. The Osborne building and grounds have been largely unused since the district moved its elementary students to the new Alpine Lake School. The city is still brainstorming how it might use that property. Many residents have advocated turning the space into a community center. Well, coming up next, the city of Leavenworth this week terminated its contract with the managers of its yearly Oktoberfest. Orchardists in Chelan, Douglas, and Okanagan counties now call on the same man when they see a pest problem. Wenatchee Valley College students will soon be able to apply for coronavirus relief funding. And just what was that light show that lit up the Pacific Northwest skies last night? We'll let you know coming up. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
If you're like me, you're already dreaming about the summer, enjoying it with friends and family in the backyard. Don't get discouraged with the chilly breeze of spring just yet. There is still work to be done, and the warmer temperatures are just around the corner. If you've been thinking about when to get your backyard ready for summer, come on down to Blue Lagoon, now scheduling pool openings. Ask us why we think you should open your pool sooner rather than later. Call today. Scheduling is filling up fast.
For almost 30 years, Link has been providing transit service to Chelan and Douglas counties. Now Link wants your input to make your transit system even better. Our region is growing in leaps and bounds, and public transit needs to improve to keep pace with this growth. We want to make public transit more efficient, more accessible, and more convenient for the people we serve, but we can't build a better system without you. So please make your voice heard and tell us how transit service can be designed to best serve you by taking our survey at www.movinglinkforward.com. Link Transit, your way to go.
Welcome back. In another news, the city of Leavenworth this week terminated its contract with the managers of its yearly Oktoberfest. The City Council voted 5-2 on Tuesday to end its agreement with Project Bayern, the nonprofit association that hosted the three-weekend autumn celebration. That doesn't mean the end of the popular festival itself. The contract to manage the event will go out for bid in 2022. Project Bayern has canceled its last two Oktoberfests, largely due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mayor Carl Flores said it's time to reimagine how festivals are staged in the city, given recent changes to the downtown core. Orchardists in Chelan, Douglas, and Okanagan counties now call on the same man when they see a pest problem. As of March 9th, the three counties will operate a tri-county horticultural pest and disease board. Will Carpenter, the longtime director of fruit pest operations in Chelan and Douglas counties, will now serve all three counties. The mission of the agency is to eradicate pest and disease-infested vegetation that threatens commercial tree fruit growers. The counties say joining forces makes sense since commercial fruit crops are largely the same throughout the region, and a threat in one county is a threat to all. Wenatchee Valley College students will soon be able to apply for Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act funding, or CRRSA. The ACT funding is the second round of the federal higher education emergency relief funds. Wenatchee Valley College will receive $4.3 million, $1.2 million of which will be distributed directly to students. Student CRRSA Act funding will provide direct emergency cash grants to college students whose lives and educations have been disrupted by the pandemic. Wenatchee Valley College will make an application available in the month of April. Students can sign up to be notified when it's ready at wvc.edu/relief funds. Current and new students are eligible to apply, and the funds must be spent within 1 year of allocation. Well, a sudden light show lit up the Pacific Northwest last night, and it was visible from right here in Wenatchee. Rodrigo Ramirez took this video from Wenatchee shortly after 9 p.m. It was a booster from a Falcon 9 heavy rocket that was launched 3 weeks ago by SpaceX, and it fell back to Earth, creating a debris scatter that burned up on re-entry. Ordinarily, the boosters are supposed to deorbit without much disturbance, but this one skipped across the sky instead. There were no reports of any debris reaching the ground. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come here on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
At Winco, we're working to save you money. Every aisle, every department, every day. Winco.
It's the huge grand opening of Click It RV in Moses Lake. Click It RV and the RV manufacturers have joined together to offer huge incentives and savings.
You guys gotta beat the spring rush and get in here now.
Everything is coming up zero, with zero down, zero payments for 90 days, zero worries, lifetime warranty, and zero for a solar panel with any RV purchase. It's a 000 grand opening going on now at Click It RV in Moses Lake. And get into Click It RV for parts, service, new and used during this huge grand opening sale.
Be a winner like me and get to Click It RV.
At Winco, we do everything to save you money. Winco.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Mary Maids of Wenatchee has been professionally cleaning and sanitizing homes and businesses in North Central Washington since 1998. Mary Maids uses commercial-grade cleaners and viricides. Mary Maids has implemented additional safety and sanitation protocols. They are strictly following CDC guidelines for the safety of their clients and employees. For expert help with cleaning and sanitizing your home or business, call or look up Mary Maids of Wenatchee to schedule your free estimate today.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Members of Congress believe Facebook, Twitter, and Google have a lot to answer for in the shaping of American politics. In tonight's feature story, in a remote hearing yesterday, 8th District Representative Kim Schreier had a chance to grill Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg on the amount of medical disinformation on its platform, particularly amid the ongoing pandemic.
Mr. Zuckerberg, I have some questions for you. I know you understand these issues are important, and sometimes misinformation can be very hard to spot. Would you agree?
Congresswoman, I agree with both of those. This is important, and the enforcement processes can be difficult.
There are 35,000 people doing content review of posts that have been flagged by users in AI. Can you tell me what content review means and how many of those 35,000 are dedicated to topics regarding health?
Congresswoman, yes, what the people are doing overall is, content gets flagged either by the AI systems or by another person in the community. And if the AI can't by itself determine that something either violates or doesn't, then it gets flagged for human review and human judgment. And the 35,000 people go through all those different cues, focused on all of the different types of harms that we've discussed today. I don't have the number off the top of my head about how many of them are focused on vaccine misinformation. But as you know, we have a policy that doesn't allow vaccine misinformation, and we work with the WHO and CDC to take down false claims around COVID and the vaccines around that could cause harm.
That's where it really gets tricky, because you have to have experts and healthcare professionals who really understand. Are your people trained in healthcare to really even be able to discern what's real, what's fake, and what to take down?
Congresswoman, the people who set the policies either are experts in these areas or engage in a consultative process where they talk to a lot of these different folks. In this case, we largely defer to the CDC and WHO on which claims they think are going to be harmful. And then we try to break that down into kind of very simple protocols that the 35,000 people can follow and that we can build into AI systems to go find as much of that content proactively as possible without requiring all those people to be medical experts.
Time now for your North Central Washington weather forecast as we head into the upcoming weekend. Beautiful day out there today. Unofficially, how about that? 60 degrees, 57 is normal, 37 right on the money as far as our normal low pressure goes. 74 record in 1994, 24 your low temperature record. That was set in 1985. 6:51, the sun came up this morning and the sun will set tonight at 7:23. Let's get you right into what we can expect as we move into tonight. Mostly clear skies. We will see a light north wind out there, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should be a great football Friday tonight with temperatures still in the 50s for most of the evening tonight. As we move into the upcoming weekend, just fantastic for Saturday. Sunny, light winds, unseasonably warm too. All of the yellow well into the 60s, and that's where we'll be on Saturday for almost all of us. And then Sunday, here's a big area of low pressure, and look at the wind field associated with this low. We are going to see wind move in Sunday afternoon rather, overnight and into Monday. Also a 40% chance of maybe the wet stuff on Sunday. For Monday, sunny skies. It still will be a bit breezy, although most of that will move into Montana. The big news for Monday, much cooler. We are barely going to see 50 degrees as we start off our next work week. But then as Tuesday rolls around, temperatures will begin to moderate somewhat, getting back to to normal. And then Tuesday, we will be back to normal at about 57 to 58 degrees. Wednesday, sunny, even a little bit warmer. Look at the clear skies all over the entire country. And we are looking at high temperatures Wednesday in the lower 60s. And by the time we get to Thursday, mostly sunny, unseasonably warm, clear skies. We're talking high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. Let's take a look now at your 7 night. Will drop down to a low temperature of 37 degrees, 62 Saturday, 60 Sunday. Remember, very windy overnight Sunday into Monday, cooler Monday before we warm back up. And by Thursday, high temperature 65 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCW Life Evening News continues right after this.
As our students return to learn, the need is great for all positions in the Wenatchee School District. Can you see yourself in these hallways? Or helping support students? Maybe you're an excellent office administrator or educator, or you have a love of sports. The Wenatchee School District is now hiring all levels of positions. You can make the difference in the life of a student and in your own life. Apply now at wenatcheeschools.org.
Hi, this is Brian Snyder with BlackRock Asphalt Services here in Wenatchee, your local BlackRock seal coat company. Have you looked at your driveway or parking lot lately? Is it gray and oxidized? Does it have cracks that have not been taken care of? Or do you have striping that is pretty much non-existent? Please give us a call locally here, 509-665-9769. Learn more at blackrockasphaltsealcoating.com.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Friday to you. The pandemic has forced high school football coaches to try and do things they normally wouldn't. With a shortened season and even shorter time to prepare, playbooks have been cut in half, and players were asked to play positions they never thought they would before. For Eastmont, that meant taking junior Ivan Corona and moving him to fullback while moving up freshman Luke Gale to start at quarterback. Coach Michael Don says it was actually Gale who showed he could pull it off.
Luke was, we saw a pretty talented kid last fall when we had him out throwing the ball a little bit, and when we first got cleared to do some small stuff in pods, and we thought he would be our backup quarterback. And then as we got going and, things happened, and, we're looking at our running back depth, and we liked what Ivan brought to the table, and we decided to move Ivan to fullback and just let Luke take the reins, and it's worked out really well. Ivan's doing a great job at fullback, and he's helped us not get as young. I mean, we had a freshman running back playing and freshman quarterback, and it's just kind of, it's good to have some of those juniors and seniors in there sometimes, and he's been a nice breath of fresh air as a junior to help us out.
Eastmont hosts Ephrata tonight, and we'll have it live on the NCW Life channel beginning with our pregame show at 6:30. Wildcats 2-1 after back-to-back wins over Wenatchee and Moses Lake. Coach Don says he hopes they continue to improve and learn as they go.
I think you learn a lot from both. I mean, you just watch the film and you see what you got to get better at and what we're doing well and not well. And obviously, I think we're getting a little bit better every week, and we just got to keep getting kids growing. And it kind of feels like, at this point, we're just finishing summer camp, kind of that feeling of where we're at. But we just keep getting better every week, and hopefully this week we get better again.
Tigers also 2-1 with wins over Chelan and Walook and a big loss to Royal. Join the club, everybody has. Don says in a shortened season, every team on your schedule will provide a challenge.
Yeah, no, they got some good-looking kids. Looking at their roster, they got a lot of height. They got a lot of tall kids. They've had a tough schedule so far, and we just got to come out and compete and be physical up front, and I think that's where we hold the advantage right now, is up front against them. But they've got some talented skill kids. They've got a wide receiver DB who's going to go play NAIA football at Montana Western, and they always seem to have a few kids that can play at the next level, and they've got some decent athletes, and we have to get on top of them early.
Eastmont will recognize its 12 seniors prior to tonight's final home game of the season. One of those is Dylan Esparza, who says he laments not having a normal senior year to create memories.
I wish I had that full season, the full summer to connect with guys like I know I'm a captain and stuff, but I honestly don't know half of our JV because we weren't lifting over the summer all together. We weren't out here practicing together. So it's actually really tough on me, and I feel for all the seniors too, because it's that bond that we try to create throughout the summer and stuff, and it's just not there with the younger kids.
See, and us adults, we go, well, at least they're playing. But, I mean, there's more to it, isn't there?
There's a lot more to it. I mean, exactly, like over the summer, that's where I feel like that's where most of my memories came from football, and not during the season at all. I mean, that's when we just play and work on ourselves kind of, but when we're in the summer lifting and practicing, that's when we really connect with each other.
You can see and hear more from Dylan Esparza and Coach Don during our pregame show tonight. Grant and I will have all of it coming up at 6:30. Football Friday schedule actually got underway a little bit earlier of our pregame show with a kickoff this afternoon. Manson playing at Tonasket. That's underway. Wenatchee plays at Moses Lake at 7, while Cascade visits Warden. Omak hosts Kashmir. Quincy's at Chelan. And Brewster travels to Oroville, and Entiat hosts Bridgeport. Coming up tomorrow, Okanagan and Lake Roosevelt kick off at 2. Then Waterville-Mansfield will host Liberty Bell at 3 o'clock. Well, we hope you join us on Saturday for a doubleheader here on the NCW Life channel. Begins with us at Lee Bofto Field of the Apple Bowl, where the Wenatchee Panthers host the Moses Lake Chiefs in soccer. I'll be along Matt Weisen with your play-by-play in the booth. Gets underway with our pregame at 12:50. Other action tomorrow, Brewster hosts Liberty Bell at 10 a.m. while Manson travels to Pateros. Chelan entertains Tonasket at 11. Eastmont will host Ephrata at 1, and then Kashmir visits Cascade at 5 o'clock. Well, the second end of our doubleheader broadcast tomorrow will be inside Wenatchee High School for volleyball. Wenatchee hosts both Eastmont and Chelan during the day, but we'll have the Panthers and Wildcats on TV beginning with a pregame at 6:20. I'll have the call with that. Wenatchee faces Chelan earlier in the day at 10:30. That's followed by Eastmont and Chelan at 2:30. In Waterville, the Shockers host Cascade and Lake Roosevelt with things getting underway at 11:15. Omak visits Okanagan tomorrow at 5:30. Quincy and Walook will play at Royal High School beginning tomorrow morning at 11. Bridgeport and Oroville head north to Tonasket, where the Mustangs, Hornets, and Tigers will get things going at 11:30. Well, don't forget, Gonzaga's next big challenge in the NCAA men's basketball tournament will be Sunday morning. Bulldogs will face Creighton in the Sweet 16 at 11:10. You can watch all the action on CBS. Meanwhile, Haley Van Lith and the Louisville Cardinals play in the round of 16 Sunday afternoon. Louisville takes on Oregon at 4 o'clock in the third round of the NCAA women's basketball tournament. That game televised on ESPN. Well, the Mariners dropped back to the 500 mark on the spring with an 8-5 loss to Oakland in Cactus League play yesterday. Julio Rodriguez continues to do well at the plate. He went 2 for 3 with a run. Jack Reinheimer played shortstop in yesterday's game. He was 2 for 4 at the plate with a run and an RBI. Mariner starter Mick Garvicius, not so good. Roughed up on the mound, 3 1/3 innings, allowed 4 runs, 5 hits, including 2 dingers. Seattle plays San Diego tonight, just 5 days away from opening day. And the Seahawks are bringing back defensive end Carlos Dunlap. According to the NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, Dunlap agreed to remain in Seattle for the next 2 years and be paid $16 million, $8.5 guaranteed. Seattle's also set to part ways with Jaron Reed, and Rappaport also reporting that the Seahawks have agreed to a 1-year deal to bring defensive tackle, that is, Al Woods back in the fold for a $3 million deal with a $750,000 signing bonus. So things shaping up for the old Hawks. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a safe and sane weekend. See you on Monday, or football later on, or soccer tomorrow, or volleyball tomorrow night. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up Monday morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. Join me on Monday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. My guest will be Jennifer Jorgensen. She is back. She was here 1 year ago on this program, and she's back again because March is colorectal cancer screening month. And, of course, Jennifer is a gastroenterologist with Confluence Health. Everything you need to know to get that colon checked. It is important. It's you got to do it. And a friendly reminder, this is the time to do it. Dr. Jorgensen will be my guest, plus we'll have highlights of a weekend full of high school sports, and everything you need to start your Monday will be right here at 7 a.m. on Monday morning. Have a great weekend. Grant, I'll see you tonight at the football field. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great weekend.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellingson here from Live It Up. Join us every week as we answer your questions on health, wealth, and relationships.
We're all about you creating a life that you love, so tune in to Live It Up.